Are you ready for a story? This story is called The Shark King's Cave. It's a folktale from Hawaii. Punia and his mother sat on the cliff high above the ocean and looked down. They could see big, dark shadows swimming in and out of the large hole in the rock just under the water. "The cave is down there, isn't it?" Punia asked his mother. "Yes," she said, "that is where we lost your father." The story always made Punia sad and angry. Long ago, Punia's ancestors swam into the cave to get lobsters. But one day, when Punia was a baby, the Shark King came to live in the cave. And that is when Punia's father went diving for lobsters and never came back. Since that time, no one in Punia's village would take the risk of swimming into the cave. The Shark King and his 10 shark followers made everyone afraid. So no one ate the tasty lobsters that were inside. But now, Punia was older, and he wasn't afraid. "I'm smarter than the Shark King," he thought. He knew that every afternoon, the Shark King took half of his 10 followers to hunt way out in the ocean. The Shark King left his other 5 followers behind to protect the cave. Punia smiled. He turned to his mother and said, "I have an idea. We'll be eating lobsters very soon." The next day, Punia filled a sack with rocks. It was almost too heavy to carry. Punia threw the sack over his shoulder and climbed up to the high cliff high above the Shark King's cave. He could see 5 shark fins sticking out of the water below. The Shark King was not there. He was off hunting with 5 of his followers. The remaining 5 followers stayed behind to watch the cave. "Come and get your lunch," called Punia. He walked to a part of the cliff far from the cave mouth and threw the sack into the water. It landed with a big splash. The 5 sharks thought the splash was a big jumping fish, and they swam from the cave to eat it. While the sharks were distracted, Punia jumped into the ocean and swam as fast as he could, descending into the underwater cave. Once he was in the cave, he saw the biggest, tastiest-looking lobsters he'd ever imagined. He carefully picked up the 2 biggest ones and swam out. He got back to the land just as the Shark King returned from his hunt. Punia held up the lobsters and shouted, "Ha ha, Shark King! Look who has your lobsters now!" Of course, Punia's laughter made the Shark King very angry. He swam to the 5 followers who were in the cave and yelled at them. "You fools!" he shouted. "You let a silly boy trick you! Leave my cave and never return." The Shark King chased them off. Punia brought the lobsters home. He and his mother cooked them and had a wonderful dinner. It was the first time Punia ever ate lobster, and it was the best thing he ever tasted. "I will bring you lobsters all the time from now on," he said to his mother, "just as my father did. You'll see." The next day, Punia tricked the sharks again. This time, he found a basket that was almost as long as he was. He filled the basket with coconuts and covered them with cloth and rope. Then he used ashes from a fire to color everything black. The basket looked like a long, fat seal. Punia dragged the basket up to the cliff. Again, the Shark King was away hunting. His remaining followers protected the cave. Punia tossed the basket into the ocean, and it floated near the top just like a seal. "Look, a seal!" yelled the 5 sharks as they swam after the basket. While the sharks chomped on the coconuts, Punia dove into the cave and got 2 more beautiful lobsters. Again, he reached the land just as the Shark King was returning from his hunt. "Ha ha, Shark King!" cried Punia. "I tricked you again!" This made the Shark King even angrier than before. He chased away his last 5 followers, shouting, "Leave and never come back. I'll protect my cave myself." Punia waved the lobsters in the air once more. Then he went home to eat them with his mother. The next day, Punia went back to the cliff. He could see the shadow of the Shark King, who was hiding near the cave's mouth. "You think you can catch me, Mr. Shark King?" said Punia. "But I have a special plan for you." Punia went back to his house and filled a cloth backpack with a strong wooden board, 2 fire sticks, and a straw mat. Punia put the backpack on and walked back to the cliff. Then he dove into the water right by the cave where the Shark King was hiding. "Aha!" cried the Shark King. "Now I have you." The Shark King opened his giant mouth to catch Punia, but when he bit down, Punia put the wooden board between the shark's giant jaws where it got stuck. The Shark King could not close his mouth. Punia slid down the Shark King's throat into his belly. He took out the straw mat and sat down. "It's dark in here," said Punia. "I'll start a fire." Punia rubbed the 2 fire sticks together until there was a fire inside the Shark King's stomach. Of course, this made the Shark King angrier than ever. The fire in his belly made the Shark King jump like a lobster in boiling water. Finally, the great shark jumped right onto the beach by Punia's village. A group of fishermen with spears ran to kill the monster, but Punia stepped out of the shark's mouth. "If you promise to leave forever," Punia said to the Shark King, "we will let you go." When the Shark King agreed to leave forever, Punia removed the board and the shark swam off into the ocean. The Shark King never returned, and from that time, Punia brought lobsters to his village every day, just like his father did long ago. The end.